Hello and welcome to Vitosh Academy. This is a tutorial for creating a web application with ASP.NET Core MVC following the Microsoft tutorial. So pretty much we would get started. We would add a controller, add a view, add a model, work with SQL Server for the local database. We would show the controller methods and views. We would add a search, then we would add another search, then we'd add a new field, and that would be it. This is how the movie app is going to look. We would have create new option. We can be adding a movie, so this is a new movie edit. It would be a comedy, price, and some rating. Click on create. This is how it would look like. We will have the complete CRUD, create, read, update, delete. For example, we can say, okay, this Tarzan would be Tarzan 2, and it would be 11 money. And we can also delete one of our, if we want to. So of course there is a database behind it. This is how the database looks like. Just refresh the database before viewing the table. There is only one table. View data. And this is it, Tarzan, Tarzan 2. The Western that we just deleted is not here. Furthermore, last feature are the two the two search indexes. So for example, if we look for a comedy, we can go for Ghostbusters, and if we look a comedy with the name 2, we can filter it and we can see Ghostbusters 2 and Tarzan 2. So pretty decent. So let's start with the application. So let's get started. We go on File, New Project, and here we select ASP.NET Core Web. There is only one, so we click on Next. We name our project MVC Movie. Click on Create. Wait a bit for the folders to create. Then we select .NET Core, the latest ASP.NET Core that we have installed, in my case 2.1. And we select Model View Controller, no authentication, configure for HTTPS, and enable Docker support. Click on Create and wait a bit for all the files to be created and generated. Okay, so pretty much this is what we get out of the box. 3 folders, 1 controllers folder, 1 models folder, and 1 views folder with subfolders, home and shared. In the home folder we have about, contact, index, and privacy. Let's edit a bit the about. This would be a MVC movie application. Contact. Let's delete this and simply write Vitosh Academy, my website. Index, I wouldn't touch the index because it's okay. And privacy, we can write, this is the Vitosh Academy MVC movie privacy. So let's see, pressing Ctrl and F5 out of the box, checking what would happen. Slowly it starts loading. And this is what we got out of the box. So MVC movie, we have contact, about, home, MVC movie. And if we change about with privacy, and if we write correctly privacy, we would get the privacy. Okay, so far so good. Let's start adding a controller to our application. So close it here and go to controllers, add controller, and we add a MVC empty controller, which is going to be named Hello World. Scaffolding takes some time. Depending on the speed of your computer, it could be faster, I guess, but I'm only guessing. Yep, this is how it looks like. So pretty much whenever we ask the hello world controller, the default index would show up. We are going to change it a bit. It's not going to be iActionResult, it's going to be string, and it is going simply to return info that this is my default action, and it would be accessible through the get command, not command, but get is like something like get post. It's kind of URL. What's the correct word? It's a good question. URL command, or yeah, let's say that it's a command. So hello world, whenever we ask it like this, it would be this one, and whenever we ask with the get through hello world / welcome, we would be getting public string welcome, and it would be returning this is the welcome action method. Pretty interesting. Let's try them on. This is the wrong one. Let's try them and see what's going to happen. So MVC movie. Okay, so / hello world. The localhost does not work. Okay, let's press F5 and see. Oh, there is a mistake which I have not noticed. So press F5 and see. Compiling and waiting a bit. Package managing console is updating some stuff. So here we can press / hello world, and we'll see that this is the default action, and instead of hello world we can say hello world and then welcome. This is the welcome action method. That's great. So let's close this, go to the startup and say every time that we are starting our application, we want that the default controller is the hello world controller, and it always opens the index. So say. So this is how to do it. Press Ctrl and S and continue with our task. So what should we do? It's a good idea to put some parameters. What kind of parameters can we put? For example, we can write welcome name, and this is number, and give some number that is passed through the URL. So okay, so return HTML encoder. Now press Ctrl and dot here, and select this one. So HTML encoder dot default dot encode. Now pass a $, in order to make it a bit fancier. So passing a $, we can refer to the variables like this. So hello name, this is number, and here we write number. Yep. So pressing F5 to see how it would look like. These parameters would be passed in the URL once it loads. takes some time. After all, this is like a whole server, so this is my default action. As you see, it loaded this time immediately to the hello world without even showing it. So this way we go hello world, it's insensitive, and then we say welcome, and it says hello, this is number 1. If we wanna pass some parameters, it could be hello British Academy. Let's see whether it would get it. No, we should write name equals British Academy, so it would be hello British Academy. And if we write the second one, it would be number equals 15154. Okay. Pretty decent. What would happen if we put a dot? Well, pretty interesting. It just realized the 1, and actually it didn't realize the 1. The 1 is like the default. So this is what it considered interesting. So yeah, this is what happened. Closing it and continuing further with our interesting application. So let's do something more interesting. Let's change the string to iActionResult. This way it would return the corresponding view. So whenever we mean hello world, it would call the index and it would return the hello world view. So how to make the hello world view? Go to the views and create a new folder for the controller. New folder, hello world. Yeah, pretty decent. Like the hello world controller goes in the hello world folder, and in the hello world folder we add a new item. The new item would be Razor view actually. So it is Razor view, so index. Yeah, and we delete a bit stuff, and let's write something like some kind of a folder. View data, title. That's the view back index. So some HTML index and some additional HTML. Hello from hello world / index.cs HTML. Even views / hello world. Yeah. Here is red and it's creaming the red thing. Okay, how to be sure that it would go? We can go like back to the hello world controller. This is one way, and then we can go to view and here. So pretty decent actually. It knows where to go, so everything works okay, looks okay at least. Let's close all but this and run our application to see whether we would go to the index. Yeah, hello from views, hello world index CS HTML. Pretty interesting. Let's make some kind of a change in the views and the layout pages now. So we can go to views, shared, layout. And what can we do there? First thing to do is to change a bit the title. For example, write instead of MVC movie, write movie up. Second thing to do is to add a link to the movie. So somewhere here, I guess, we can write add the link, a class navbar header, navbar brand, ASP controller movies, and ASP action, of course, index, and the name would be movies. Furthermore, add something in the footer, 2019 British Academy, and add a link to the privacy. It would be ASP area, like this, not a P, but ASP area. ASP area, yep. It would be no ASP area, then ASP controller home. And ASP action would be privacy, in order to go to this one here. And we would write simply privacy. That's pretty decent actually. Hopefully. Just a quick note here, when we, for example, min navbar header, for example, nav minus header, this kind of fancy B tells us that we have bootstrap, and the bootstrap came with the installation package in www root lib bootstrap. Here it is. We also have jQuery, we have the jQuery validation, and we have a lot of stuff. We have some images that we were using actually in the initial site, and we have some CSS that looks like this in one line, because it is a min. Yeah. So let's continue with our application and start doing the movie list. Yeah. Before starting the movie list, let's make something interesting. Like the last thing with the hello world would be in the controller, hello world. Let's change a bit the welcome. We can say, okay, view data message would be like this, hello last name, and then view data number would be number, and we would return the view. And of course, if we return view like this, it cannot be a string, but it should be an action result. And now we should think how to pretty much change the view. We can go here, we can go to the hello world, and we can consider writing another razor view like index CSHTML with the name of welcome. A good way is to write add view here, empty without a model is okay, view name, yeah, and simply click on add. The only thing it should do is to add here another file called welcome, like this. Yes. And what should we do there? It's already like with h2 welcome. We can write a list, a node.list, and we can start writing in razor for and twice tab, so for int equals to 0 to e smaller than, let's try it, int parse to int view data, and here we get number a++, and here for everyone we write a list item which is view data message. Okay, so let's click F5 and see what's going to happen. If we click F5 from a view, it should open exactly in the view, or at least I guess so. Let's see. Nope, not exactly. Anyway, probably with Control and F5 it would have worked. We can do it ourselves. So here we go, hello world / welcome. So we only write once, and it's hello because we didn't pass any kind of parameters. But let's pass something like name equals vitoshacademy.com and 7. And this is what we get. Hello Virtual Academy, hello Virtual Academy, and so on 7 times. It's a good way to see privacy is here. So we have it always in the footer. What else? We added a movie link here, which is to a place which we haven't created yet, but still it is there. And yeah, so far so good. Now it is time to go to our real ASP.NET Core MVC app for movies. So we start by adding a model. So in the models folder, model is a class, so we can go like this, add new item class, and we call it movie. This is what we got automatically, and we start writing stuff. So if we write prop and tap twice, this is what we get. So the first that we need in our model is an ID. The second that we need is a title of type string, title. Third is date time, release date. Next one that we need would be genre or genre, depends how do you pronounce it. And the last one would be a price. Okay, the price would be an integer, because to be honest, I don't want to deep dive into how to fix the price from commas to dots, but in general, for a price, VBA, not VBA, C# and .NET have the type decimal. So whenever you do something with money, always use decimal. Otherwise, you would be in trouble, in a big trouble. Yeah. So about the release date, we can make information here that it is data type. And control.system component model data annotations. This kind of beautiful thing is called data annotations, and it is going to inform the view that it's going to be a data. So control dot and removing the usings. So far so good. Now the funny part coming out of the box. Clicking on controllers and clicking add and new scaffolded item. So new scaffolded item, we should select the MVC items, of course, and from the MVC items, let's go to MVC controller with views using entity framework. Great. Click on add and select the model class. Okay, our model class is movie, of course, and data context class. Click on plus. Don't do anything, just simply click on add, and this is the data context class, MVC movie models, MVC movie context. Leave empty, so it's okay. Controller name movies controller. It's quite clever here. .NET framework. The class is movie, and it wrote movies. It's actually fun because also if you create a class person, it would name it to people, and that's really, really wise. Wait a bit and take a look. What did we get? So we get a database context class here in the data folder. So we get a data folder created for us, an MVC movie context, which inherits from the DB context, which is great. And we had a movie controller here, movies controller, which got all the CRUD. Let's take a big look at everything. Okay, we have a context, which is accessible, and we have a constructor here which takes the context and assigns it to this context. We have movies, which are pretty much to list a sync. We can get the specific movie by ID with a lot of nice checks. For example, if the ID is no, it returns not found. And if the movie is no, also not found, otherwise it returns the view movie. And in iAction result, we get a create view. Okay, with the post after binding all these properties, we create a new movie, which is created. Edit as well, binding all the edits, makes a lot of checks, makes sure the model is valid, then tries and catches. Deleting by ID is also out of the box here, and at the end, posting after the delete. There is a delete confirmed, pretty much. So 2 views, and of course here in views we get a new folder, movies, which create, delete, details, edit, index. For example, we can go to, let's go to edit, and we say, hey, go to view of edit, and it brings us here into this one. And this is how the edit looks like. Of course, the index is pretty decent as well. Delete is well decent. Create is decent. Everything looks as it should look like. Okay. Let's consider running it with F5 just to see how it would work. Waiting. And wait a bit until it loads. Yeah, so movies. Okay. Cannot open database. Requested by the login. The login failed. That's interesting. Okay, let's see whether we can select like this and put create. Wow, yeah. This is our create, so let's create something. Genre. Nope. The point is that this beautiful thing tries to access a database, and as far as we do not have a database, it doesn't like it. But the edit 5, this is what it was. Okay. No, cannot open a database at all. So what should we do in order to add a database? First, stop the party. Second, go to the package manager console, which is, for me, I have it here because I was working quite a lot today. But in general, it's like tools, and then NuGet package manager console. Or if you want to impress someone, you can press Alt P, Alt M. Would it work? Let's see. Alt P, Alt M. Yeah, people are impressed by interesting stuff. So let's add a migration. Add migration initial. Okay, looks good. What did we get? We get a new folder migration here. And in the migration, we get some information, how the initial migration looks like. It creates a table called movie and uses a lot of stuff. Yeah, some tables, columns. Now what we should do with this migration after it is created, we should update it to the database. So the command for updating database is rather easy. Update database, enter. Now is the fun. We have started to do stuff with the database using provider with options none. Yes, this is what we need. Create table movie, int not no identity, title, and varchar, release date, date time, genre, now and varchar, price, integer, constrained primary key. As you see, it's clever enough to know that when we have an ID, it is first identity. When we have a property named ID, it is identity, and it is also constrained as a primary key. I mean, this is by default from Entity Framework, and it looks fun. So if we go to SQL Server DBO movie, let's refresh the data. We can say view data. I guess I'm in the wrong, yes, I'm in the wrong database. It's MVC movie 2, the one that I already had before. Refreshing, and we get this one, which is MVC my movie, MVC movie context. We can go here, tables, and this is our table. I'll just remove this one. So movie, view data, this is how it looks like, nothing inside. Let's go to F5 and add something inside. This time we have a database behind. It should work, hopefully. So movies, create new, Tarzan, 1st of January 2017, genre comedy, price 2 money, and create. And now we have a Tarzan. Create new, we look for Tarzan 2. So the 3rd of March 2002, genre comedy as well, price 4, create. This is it. We have Tarzan and we have Tarzan 2. Let's edit Tarzan 2 and change the price to 55. Yeah, price change, great. Let's leave and let's take a look at the movie database. Refresh a bit. Then go to view data. And that's it. It is inside. How did it happen? Wow. If we go to the controllers, to the movie controller, for example, the create with the binding, it creates an ID, title, release, date, genre, price, movie. And it simply says if the model is valid, then context add this movie with ID, title, release date, genre, and price. Let's put a stop here and try to debug it, create a new movie, and see how it works. So movies, we'll create Tarzan 3, release date, genre comedy, and price something like this. So click on create, and it stopped on movie. So whenever we go to movie, we can see movie, non-public members are added. Would it be possible to see? Okay, exactly, this is what I was looking for. Genre comedy, ID is not assigned, but it would be assigned automatically. It would be ID 3, price 4, release date, and title is Tarzan 3. So we can debug further with F11 was, I think, not sure. Yeah, of course it is F11. So await context save changes, redirect to action, and this is our Tarzan 3. So let's stop it and go back to movies. Of course it will not show now the movies, it would show the designer, but if we go to movies view data, we'll see here Tarzan 3 with everything that we have created. So pretty much this create binding movies and this context add is translated into like a SQL update query, pretty much, and writing to the context. And our context is of course our database. So let's go a bit further and consider adding some kind of a seed. The first time, let's say it is possible that people may decide that whenever we start the application and it is empty, we should have some kind of movies inside. So this part of it is empty means that we should empty our application. Okay, the easiest way is like this. Go and delete yes, I want to delete them. So they are deleted now. Then consider writing in the models folder some seed. So models, Control Shift and A. This is a shortcut for creating classes, and name our class seed data. So seed data should be initialized. Public static void initialize, and service provider is a good way to initialize. Of course, this we have a static initializer, so the class should be static as well. And let's start with the party using context var context equals new MVC movie context. This is this one here, this one here. So it would be service provider dot get required service. Press Ctrl and dot to see the dependency injection using here. And get required service, type DB context option, Ctrl and dot, okay, this one, and the using KeySedit, the entity framework core. Get DB context options, okay, and here it is. Don't forget the type as well, MVC movie context, and control dot again. No, not control dot again. Okay, this, let's add it, and then one more, and then one more. So let's consider it okay this way, and let's start writing the code. Okay, it is still a bit not happy, but it will become happy somehow. Okay, so let's check really quickly the parentheses. Okay, two parentheses is okay. Let's see. So what do we add? We add some movies, but the movies should be added a bit differently. First, we have to make sure that there are no movies inside. So we write if context dot movie dot movie, and movie should be big one dot any. If there is any type of a movie or something, then simply exit. Otherwise, start context dot movie dot add range and add the whole range. And at the end, this is like where the range would be added. At the end, write context save changes. In order to save the changes, and now try to fix everything so it does not complain. No, stop. Okay, so add ranges was here, and then here was context dot save changes. Yeah, this is rather okay. So and at the end, using context should be okay here. And let's hope for one more. And no issue found. Great. It's the best message I can find in Facebook, not in Facebook, but in Visual Studio. Facebook, I have other better messages to find. So let's put the movies I was talking about. Here we start with a new movie, and the new movie is control space. It has a ID. We are not gonna pass, of course, because it's automatically coming. We'll start with the title. The title is When Harry Met Sally. Let's see what else do we have. Release date. Okay, release date would be, just to be on the sure side, it's a good way to parse it. And release date 1989 0101. That's a great release date. Probably only the year is correct. Genre is romantic comedy, or so they say. And the price is like 7. As I said, for the price, it's a good idea to use a decimal. In this case, if we had a decimal everywhere, I would have written like this, 7M. But in our case, an exception, we are using not a decimal, we are using integer for prices. Okay, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, okay. We have quickly 4 movies, let's make it a bit different. This one would be called Ghostbusters. It's from the 1994, it's just a comedy, and it would be 10. The next one would be Ghostbusters 2. It's for 1996. It's also a comedy, it would cost 12. And the next one would be Rio Bravo. I'm really following the tutorial here. 1999. Okay, Western. And the price would be 6. So far so good. Context save changes. Yep, my keyboard is doing some tricks that I really do not like, but as far as it's no issue found, it's great. No, it has an issue, it has an expected thing. Okay, great. Do we have no issue found? Yes. So now the funny part is to add this kind of seed to the whole party. Where is this going to be added? Of course, in the program file. So in the main, we simply delete, and we start writing var host equals create web host builder, arguments dot build is okay, and using, so var scope equals host dot services, create scope. Lots of things coming from the framework out to the box. Control dot using Microsoft extensions, dependency injection. So the scope needs a try catch. So let's consider the try. The try would be var context services that we have referred dot get required services. MVC movie context. Okay, let's see. MVC movie context. We have to add a namespace to the models, to this one, and it knows. And considering the services, control and dot. Well, does not exist in the current context. That's interesting. Services. Let's write it once again. Sometimes. Install package. Fluent assertions. Not sure this is a good way, but yeah, sometimes we are just spoiled when we just press Ctrl and Dot and it somehow gets fixed by itself. Scope service provider is the way. So context dot database migrate, start the latest migration, and of course Ctrl and Dot for the migrate using entity framework. And now seed data dot initialize and leave the services there. Okay, the exception should be some logger. Still using the scope service provider services dot get required service of type ilogger of type program. So logger dot logger x error in seeding the DB. Error seeding the DB. It's quite okay. And now the most important part, which should not forget at all, host run. Yeah, this one is okay. And let's test the application. So testing, we simply press Ctrl and without Ctrl, we press F5. And we start checking how it looks like. Loading a lot happens. Then what would load now is the question. So movies. Wow, it didn't load actually. Wow. Question why? Let's stop it completely. Stop site. Exit. And let's try it again. F5. The IIS Express should have been restarted earlier. It is usually viewable here on the task area. So, although that's rather strange, probably the initialize seeder was not initialized. Let's take a look at the seeding method again. Seed data, and yeah, of course, we have forgotten something. We have forgotten to write context update. Definitely, this was forgotten. So let's write it carefully. Context dot save changes. Yeah. And now try again. This time it should be there. Otherwise it just creates everything on start and then forgets about it. Pretty much hit and run. Although I thought that I have added context save changes, but doesn't matter. So wait. Movies. And these are our 4 movies. We have the edit. We can edit. And we can delete. And we also have a nice details way. What we don't like is that release date is written like this. So we can stop it. Go to the controller's movie controller, no, not to the controllers, but to the data, to the models, and update a bit the way the movies is written. How to update it? Well, it's a good question. The way to update it is to write display and then to write name, and here release date. It's pretty much okay. Let's go to data annotations, all this kind of stuff. So let's start working with some kind of a search. So how the search is working, we should go to the controllers, movie controllers, and take a look at our index. We have one index. So what is the index asking for? The index is asking actually for nothing. It simply displays the movies, and it displays all the movies. This is rather great, but we want to make sure that the index would do something a bit different. It would take a parameter here, search string, and it would return something funny. It would return only the movies that it has found. So from movies in underscore context dot movie, select movie. Yeah. Pretty much it starts with O, and then it says yes, but if not string is no or empty. So if there is something in this kind of search string, okay, control and space here doesn't want to help me, so copy and paste. Then movies are actually movies where the string, the S, is in the title containing search string. Yeah, and return view await movies dot to list async. Yeah, would it work? That's rather interesting. Let's press Control. Let's press F5 and check it out. So far so good, no explosions or something. Okay, go to movies, and here we would say, what are we gonna say? Movies, search string equals ghost. Who are you gonna call? The answer is Ghostbusters. Yep, it works. Let's stop it. Let's change a bit the controller now, because let's make the default start not into the hello world but into movies. Let's sure what's the name of the controller. Yeah, movies. Just write movies controller and action index, of course. Save, and that's kind of enough. So now let's consider further. A good idea is, instead of writing the search into the parameter over, to give some kind of a user interface for the people working with our application, and like a box where they can write stuff. So in views, movies, index HTML, CS HTML. Here we can add something interesting after the paragraph. We can write form action, form ISP controller, movies, ASP action is index. I wouldn't specify the method, of course, because if we have specified it, it would be get actually. So anyway, and in the form we have a paragraph, and in the paragraph we write title, input type text, and the name would be search string. And the input type would be submit. The value would be filter. Filter would be written on our button. So whenever we click on the submit, it would take the text as a search string parameter, and it would redirect to movies index with this search string parameter. Easy to explain. Let's see whether it works. Pressing Ctrl F5. And see. First of all, we should expect now the movies index to be the first one to load. Takes some time. Running a server is nothing, not a lot of work. Okay, that's something interesting. View data on index CS.html. That's a mistake. That looks interesting. Okay. Yep. It's interesting. Let's research a bit. Why did this mistake happen? Okay, so the mistake seems to be not the here, it's an ASP action instead of action, so let's try again. So this is what we get, and if we go here for Ghostbusters, this is what we get, yes, and Ghostbusters filter, pretty decent actually, yes, so it works. From here we can of course edit, and we can write the price, something really high. So let's stop it, and let's continue with the second search that we're going to implement, and the second search would be by a genre. Actually, it's a bit difficult, not more difficult, but a bit different, and yeah, difficult, because also the genre would be a drop down. So let's make it a bit further. So for the drop down, we need a new class in the models folder, and Control Shift and A, the shortcut, and this way it would be called movie genre view model. This is how it looks like. Public list, movie, movies, get set. Then we need another property named prop, and then twice tap. Okay, select list. Select list is a specific class that is provided by us by Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC rendering, and it will be called genres. Then we have movie genre, public string movie genre get set, and then the last property, okay, prop to space would be search string. So this is everything. Search string is the thing that we put on the search string box. Movie genre would be the genre. Genres is, as mentioned, the list of all genres. And list movies is the list of all movies. Pretty decent. So let's go back to our controller movies and refix again the index movies pretty much. This one, I guess, is one of the things that we're going to leave. So first we start with iQueryable with type string inside, and it's genre query, and it looks like this. It's a link query from m in underscore context movies. Yeah, context movie, we only have one table, but still we refer to it like this. Order by m genre and select m genre. This is it. We get genre query. Then we have the var movies. From m in context movies, select m. Pretty decent. Then if the search string is empty, leave this check. Now we need a new check for a genre. If not search, not search, but string is no more empty. Movie genre. Then movies where s dot genre contains movie genre. Okay. Something is telling us that this movie genre is does not exist in the current context, and this is actually true because we haven't passed it as a parameter here. String search string, not search string, but movie genre or search string. Let's put the movie genre here. So movie genre search string. Great. Continuing would be movie genre. Now our new class is called movie genre view model. It will be new movie genre view model, and this is to have like two lists to have genres. It will be the new select list, awaiting genre query. Distinct, we only need once written comedy, if it is, even if there are 3 comedies, because we're going to filter by comedy. That's why the distinct. And movies, await movies to list async. Yeah, pretty decent. And return, of course, not this view, but the movie genre VM. Yep. We should definitely go to the view and check where was it? No, not create, it was the index view, and change here. This one, of course, it's not enumerable movie anymore. It is a bit different. It's MVC movie dot models dot movie genre view model. Yep. And if we try to compile, we would see some errors actually, because this one are not. Oh, the errors just came. So the title is not anymore title, but it would be dot model dot movies first index and then title. let's copy it like this and right here, release date, genre, price. The same goes here. And the loop is actually a bit different. The loop is model.movies. Yep. Let's see, errors. Okay. Yeah, once we have the item, it's okay. Oh, I need a new keyboard. Yeah, the control is actually like sometimes holding, so things like this are happening. Okay, let's press the F5 of trust and see what happens. This is the F5 of trust. What would happen is that we have not built yet the second input box, but we can kindly check how to try to parameterize our query. So let's see. Let's say like this, then we go to movies, of course, and we say, hey, I have a movie genre, comedy. Would it work? Yeah. Movie genre comedy and search string would be ooh. So Ghostbusters is the only one with ooh. Yep, it works. Now the funny part is that we should also add this to the view, and this would be a better idea. How to edit? It's in the view, definitely, and we should try to update it a bit there. Yep, let's go to the view. Index. Here is the magic where we should add our stuff. So what do we write? Except for title, we write as well select ASP4 equals movie genre ASP items would be the model dot genres, and here we would say option value equals nothing or all, and we would say okay. So this way it's in the same form. We have added the two search string and movie genre, and it should work. Let's double check it once again, just to be on the sure side that the two works before continuing with the next fancy part. So this is it. Title, let's say ghost, filter, comedy, written twice, and romantic comedy. That's strange. Filter. Okay, filter 2, romantic comedy. There is no romantic comedy. Filter on O, filter on 2 and on comedy. Ghostbusters, comedy. And the other thing, well, let's say Ghostbusters, filter comedy. Yeah. Filter this comedy when Harris met Sally. That's rather strange. Why do we have comedy twice? I would research a bit. but I guess the reason is that something with the distinct didn't work, interestingly enough. Actually, the distinct was working rather well, but one of the comedies has some kind of space in front. Let's remove it. Okay, not the Ghostbusters, but probably the Ghostbusters too. Here, I saw it in the database. Actually, here, it's really visible. Well, of course, when you write some kind of application like this, you should always try to trim the user input, so this kind of cases are. So as you see, comedy is only one. So far so good, our application works. And now let's try to add additional stuff to our application. So what is the additional stuff for the application? It is something called rating. So we go to model, movie, and in our movie we would say, hey, we need a rating as well. The rating would be a string, and it would be rating. And we also would put some display. Control C, Control V really works even if we do not select. If we just click it on the line, it selects and paste and copy the whole line. So name, this would be 5 out of 7 is best rating. So let's consider building the app and see what's happening. Building the app is done through debug, through build solution. Yep. Did we have the rating inside the view date, the movie? Of course not, because we haven't mentioned that we need it. Let's go back to our model and stop, close everything else but this. So where should we start with the whole story? Let's go to the package manager console and say, hey, I just added a rating, so I want a new migration. Add migration rating, and of course update database. Let's see the commands for the updated database. This is what happened. Outer table, movie, add rating, and varchar null. Yep, it's pretty decent. Refresh movie. Well, have a rating. Of course, it is in varchar null, so and view data null everywhere. That's rather fun. The not fun part is that we should go now through each one of our create, read, update, delete parts and add the rating so it is visible. So let's start with the read. The read is in views, movies index. So whenever we write here, we would simply copy, paste, and we write okay, movies.rating. Well, it's helping quite a lot. And here it would be the same. Item.rating. That's great. This is in the index. Okay. In the details, we would also need it. Simply copy, paste, model.rating and model.rating. Great. In the edit, it's also needed, so simply copy the whole party here, put it on the top, and we say okay, ASP4 rating, ASP4 rating, ASP validation for rating. Of course, we don't have any validation, but if we write for later, okay, so index, okay, in delete In delete we also, yeah, okay, we would put it there. Rating. So let's press Ctrl F5 and see what we have built so far. Okay, here is our application. Let's start adding a rating. 5 out of 7. What do we give to when Harry met Sally? We give a solid 3. And it's not displayed. Wow. What do we give to Ghostbusters? A solid 4. Not displayed again. Wow. A solid 3 out here. And nothing is displayed. That's rather sad. But the good thing is that we haven't checked anything in the controllers there, so pretty much this is the reason. Adding this in the create and adding this in the edit should be good enough. Pretty much we bind all the words here. So this is why these words are really important to be written this way, and to be exactly when we have release date here on the edit. In the edit here we also say, okay, whatever you pass us as a release date would be passed on this form as a release date. Yeah, let's try once again with F5. Build started. Everything running okay. Would it happen? Let's see. Waiting, okay. Let's filter the romantic comedy first and edit the romantic comedy as I said a solid 3. Wow, the rating's there. Rating of Ghostbusters a solid 6. No, 6 is too much. 5 out of 7 is the maximum. Ghostbusters 2 a solid 4. And your Bravo a solid 2.5. It is a string, so anything is possible. You can also write 4, but it is a nice movie. In general, you can write it like this in the rating. Yeah. And I missed a comma before the but. Okay, looks good. Let's try to create. Title Tarzan. Release date 1st of January 2007. Genre comedy. Price 18. And we do not see the rating. Yeah, no rating for Tarzan. Let's say it. Okay, we can add the rating to Tarzan, like B. But in the create, it is not added, and that is strange. Let's see whether we have it in the view data. In the database, yes, everything is in the database. And let's go now to the controllers mode. First, let's see the controller. Okay, create, here's one. And edit, here's one. And these are the only two binding. Okay, so probably here we have forgotten something. Yeah, no rating here. It's good that it works and it considers the rating as an empty string. Otherwise our whole application would have exploded. Okay, so let's create Tarzan 2 and gives it some rating and see what would happen. Would it work as expected or not? Let's see. Alright, create new. We create Tarzan 2, 2000 something, genre, okay, only comment is here, money, yeah, rating a solid 2.5, create, and the rating is there. So pretty much this is what we have. We can write delete. We can write here also delete. We can view the details, and we can go back to the list. What is possible is to create further the validations, because the validations would be good. And validations in general are a must, but the video is getting a bit too long, so the validations will be explained some other time. So thank you for watching. You would be able to see the code in GitHub. There would be an article in my website. And thank you for watching once again. Subscribe, write questions in the comments, and have fun in general. Thanks.